Good space time to y'all, guys. And in this episode, I talked to Highlander, a validator on various Cosmos networks. We spoke about the validating business, community development, decentralization of staking, and Juno drop. Hint, hint, I'm guessing. I'm personally over the moon to see that more and more validators are actually people who are committed for the greater good of Cosmos, and would love to know your thoughts. So let's dive into the conversation.
Honestly, it's an income for me to stay in the industry.
If you don't have the reward cycle, you just be a plant. Having a business in Web3 that can be monetized is realistic to anyone. That's what the mafia fucking does, right? And well, that's what the government does. They offer you protection as long as you pay the money. So that's why they're not really interested in all that shit. Before we rocket off into our next episode, we would like to share the latest news of this episode's sponsor, Cyber. The Cyber Congress DAO has recently launched its bootloader network for the superintelligence Bostrom. The network is stable and the first IBC connection has been established. More news on the activation of Cyber's gift to follow soon. To test Cyber, head straight to their app on cybe.ai. So, Highlander, man, how are you? Welcome to the show, man.
Excellent, man. I'm buzzing. I listen to your podcast all the time. It's my little late night chill out, get in touch with what's happening in the Cosmos verse or whatever we're calling it these days. Yeah, it's nice to be on. Thank you very much for having us. We got there and organising it in the end. Smashing.
Yeah, it did take us a while to organize this. People are busy. People are doing things here, there, everywhere.
As I said, I was telling you, we're moving house at the moment, so the next 2 weeks is just going to be mental. So I do apologise, but we got there in the end, so all good.
Well, I hope that your house moving is going to turn out great, because that's the main thing. Moving is quite a stressing thing, I guess. I mean, I know myself, I've been moving a lot in my life. Man, let's talk the obvious stuff first of all, right? Let's get this out of the way. You're a validator. Let's talk about that. How did you get to validate around the Cosmos ecosystem? How did this life turn upon you like that?
Through Medium articles. Well, I still am, suppose. It's a touring system engineer in the music industry. Well, I go on tour with quite substantial acts around stadiums and arenas, and COVID really collapsed our industry. I was out of work for best part of 2 years. I've not went back full time. So in the meantime, I thought, well, I was investing in crypto during the tail end of just before COVID sort of hit. And I think I seen Massey's Medium article for staking Cosmos.
Wow.
And he spoke about validation and stuff like that. And I messaged him. I'm going back a couple of years now, but I messaged him and just said, how'd you become a validator? It's saying you could be profitable, you can help secure the network and be an integral part of growing Cosmos as a whole. And he just put me in touch with Tosh straight away, introduced me. And I think I annoyed Tosh for about 2 years, but he taught me loads of good stuff and infrastructure. And I had this as a validate Ethereum as well on a local box that I have. But getting into that, and I wanted to try and validate a Cosmos chain. I think any chain at the time I was up for, but it was just my DevOps knowledge just wasn't up to scratch to try and get into this box and try and utilise it. And as Tosh mentioned, he's like, just use the cloud, you know what I mean? Just use DigitalOcean, where it's, you just create a box and it's all safe up there. Well, we're not saying it's safe, but it's a lot more better for modifying and keeping an eye on things as such. And yeah, so I got going with a few test nets. And it was really hard. So coming from a non-computer background, but I am technically good at my other job, so I was confident in studying and trying to get things working. So testnets were a great way for doing that. And then it was the time for Juno was just getting chatted about, and would I be up for, getting on that. And what a chain to start on, to be honest. It's absolutely amazing what Juno's done. And I've went from there and I've moved on to a couple more main nets. But I'll say this, I won't be validating loads of chains because I don't have the manpower and I don't have the time to do something to do it properly. I don't want to be half-assed on things. I want to do it right. So maybe 5 or 6 for me will be good enough for me just to manage and stuff. Yeah, so that's that for that.
They say you always start with 1, then 5, then 6, then it goes to 20, 30. It gets addictive. I know what you mean.
There, man. Yeah, you're definitely right.
It's a bit private question, but do you still any local validators that you keep in the house or anywhere else?
Just the Ethereum one. Yeah, just that. And I can't wait it's all done so I can be just out of Ethereum completely because,
Really?
yeah,
Why?
well, it's just a lot of people who have converted, right? There's a big group called Chat Labs, and it's a great little chat room with 800 strong. And every one of them never really dealt with Cosmos, right? And I come in there before Juno was coming out and just recommended, have you seen this ecosystem? Have you used it? And the gas fees on it and how slick it is. Eventually converted them, and my validator is went up a fair few places from people from that group delegating to my validator. And it just shows that people are really going, once you're converted to Cosmos, mate, it's very hard to go back to Ethereum. It is. I don't know what the developer community's vibe is, but I'm speaking to Jake from Juno, and he reckons, 3 months' time will be a lot easier to convert people from ETH onto our chains, without a doubt. And that's incredible.
Well, I always say I'm a decentralization maxi, so I like it when people validate as many networks as possible. I love it, actually. I believe that my view here is not like Cosmos or Ethereum. I believe that in like 5, 10 years' time, they're all going to interact with each other anyway. So
Totally agree.
the merrier, the better.
Yeah, and on that point, Eve Moss is potentially going to be awesome.
Of course. Are you planning to validate Evmos, by the way?
I was in about the testnet, and I don't know what happened, but again, being busy trying to learn code, it's like, what avenue do I want to go down at the moment? And I don't want to just spread myself too thin. So Eve Moss was there. I was doing the testnet, but I get kicked out the testnet validator set because everybody was just gaming it, putting auto scripts in and stuff, and I really didn't have the time to keep up with it. So I come out of that, but they did mail me back and ask me, are you going to come on validate it? So again, I'm not too sure, but I will be definitely staking to validators with that, with AveMoss for sure to support it. Validating it is another issue. Yeah.
For sure, man. So I have one definitely question I want to ask you. We had a lot of validators during different seasons, like the first and the second season on the show. And one thing I try to understand is what is the motivation? And I don't mean to secure the network. That answer doesn't count. I mean, why are you doing it? I mean, what's the purpose? Where are you heading with it? Where is the validator heading for you?
Honestly, it's an income for me to stay in the industry. If we don't get some sort of contribution, how can I stay at home and work and look after 2 kids and a fiance, right? Although staking, look at Juno, right? 40% inflation for a year. You don't really want to be selling your rewards, do you? You want to be compounding them all the way, because after the first year, that initially 50% if it's circulating supply is out there. See, now's the time not to be selling your stake, right? So I can't make money off that at the moment. That's a long-term thing. With validating, though, I can at least go at with half of the rewards on commission and put it to bills. My DigitalOcean invoice a month is sky high, but the validator covers it, and I get a little bit for myself. But I think you need to think about a bear market. It's a different game altogether. Looking at the data, I think I'll be able to survive and not go under during a bear market. But for now, I'm trying to just keep myself in here so I can learn TypeScript, I can learn Rust, I can try and build something and be rewarded from Hack Juno for say. Enough to keep you in there so you can contribute to the network. This is what matters at the end of the day. How are you going to attract developers? How are you going to attract anybody if they're not getting sustainable income to leave their main jobs to come and do it? I literally have left an industry that was paying me 60 grand a year and came to this. I believe in Juno and I believe what it's doing. I think it can change, it can help loads of real world problems, right? And I believe I want to stay on this for another year at least to see how this is going. And I've had to speak to the company who I was freelancing for, and they were like, totally get it. But it's hard for me to go back into that old industry, which could just shut down again tomorrow. We don't know. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, so that's why I do it. Validation sort of gives me a little skin in the game, so to speak.
I think it's very important. I think a lot of people who try to leave income and economical incentives out of it kind of forget how blockchain works. And blockchain works thanks to economic incentives. That is one of the main reasons. If you read the Bitcoin white paper, the Ethereum white paper, any white paper, not one of the main, but I would say right in the middle of it, apart from consensus computing and timestamps, you have economical incentives which make people carry on do it. And I think it's very important. I love that you have the balls to say it, because a lot of people, they try to avoid speaking about that, and I don't understand why.
This is the thing as well, right? I'll be honest with it. We're here also to, when I contribute to stuff or try and help a network out, whatever I'm doing, I don't sit there and go, I'm after a reward. That's not the way I work. The way I work is we're changing the world here. We're at the forefront of change in loads of different things. And it sort of aligns. The rewards come after for me. It's happened in the past. I'm not even worried about it. And you just know, you know what, you're just like, wow, what am I doing? This is amazing. You're contributing and rewards will come after. You work hard. It gets noticed, doesn't it?
Of course, and that's what a lot of people ask me. Like, well, what are you talking about when you say ecosystem development? I said it's exactly what it is. You come to a network, you start to do what you do, and if the network sees value in what you do, it will reward you for it. One question: I went on your website, so you have the networks that you validate. You have Comdex, Juno, and I can't pronounce XHI. We had the guys also on the show, but the controversial question is this: why do you concentrate on what somebody would refer to as only decentralized exchanges or DEXs, or rather than concentrating on networks who are doing anything else? And again, this is like a devil's advocate question, so feel free to answer any way you want, man.
I've not really looked at it that way. You've pointed that out, and that's took me by surprise, to be honest.
Oh shit!
No, totally fine. What I do is I validate chains that I know I can bring a little bit of contribution to. I've been doing it from the start. Writing documents or whatever. It all helps spreading the word. Keychain, I work with another great validator called it's pronounced Qualak, but I think it's like Q13. It's like some crazy name he's got, but he's awesome on the system ops, so he is. And I've been developing. Will be out soon, hopefully, once we get it. We'll get to a certain thing we need to work on, but it will be a staking device that you can just connect to with Kepler, and it just talks to every Cosmos chain. One thing I have noticed with staking is, Juno for a start, if Omniflix and Jan Salax did a great little UI so people could stake straight away when Juno was released. I just think we're missing this universal UI. It can just do all the chains for you. And we've got something there that we think can do it. Most people, probably have other things that are similar, but with Keychain, we said we could do it for them, and Comdex as well. So it was just like coming to chains that I know I can bring something to the table. Because if you don't get that foundation delegation, then you're fighting for the scraps, really, which we'll talk about in a bit, because I highlighted something on Twitter last night about, but that's another topic. We may be going to that later about centralization and decentralization of networks and stuff.
For sure, that's one of the topics I love talking about. But before we get to that, because the reason I thought you did that is because you mentioned you have a background in trading, right?
Yeah, so that's how I began, really. I was just doing a bit of technical analysis and sort of playing on the charts with Bitcoin and Ethereum and that. And once I started understanding a bit of TA, it was making money, also losing money. But again, it just sort of, if you're invested in something, you're going to take the time and study things, aren't you? Whereas if you've not got a penny in crypto, you're not asked about anything that does. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. But if you think about it, this is how we as humans work. I mean, a human always makes that flight or fight choice, right? The reward cycle. And if you don't have the reward cycle, you just be a plant, right? So exactly the same shit goes over here. I mean, you bring value, you get something in return, and that makes you give more value. And I think that's the fucking thing that keeps us going in it. But let's talk about what you just said. I mean, I love talking about that topic, centralizations of network. Let's talk about that.
Well, I started this at the beginning with Juno, is there's validators at the bottom. So once it increased, I think, from 100 to 125 in the set, one of my friends as well was one of those who got in it like 120. That's Qualak, who I was talking about. I'm sorry, man, if I pronounced his name wrong if he listens to us back, but, that is what it is. And it's just feeding off the scraps, but you've got loads of validators at the top who'll just scoop up. And I think we need, Jake and such as mentioned about, I think we're going to try and incentivise more of the outside, the top 10, to try and bring in more delegations to the lower validators. So we started off with this idea of what we'll do is where rewards 1 week of the month, we can just delegate I'll personally redelegate some of my commission towards some of the lower validators. And what I found had happened is when you do that to the bottom 10, some of them were just dropping out and not even fucking, they were all jailed. And I'm like, you're not even looking after your validator. I'm trying to help you out. So fucking, all that idea's gone now, I think. Do you know what I mean? But just showing that it's important that we try and redelegate and try and not keep it centralised. You know, I'm not angry at anybody or anything. I'm just raising an issue. I think there's a bit of a concern with certain validators who might release, especially with Juno swap coming out, you can just fucking create a coin and it can come out and you can create a meme coin, but you're then going, well, if you stake with us, you're due an airdrop. You know, that kind of thing. I've got a concern with that. You know, there's a lot of delegations I'm seeing leaving certain validators who are just going to a specific validator because they're offering an airdrop as such. Okay, if they're contributing and building stuff on the network, like Omniflix, for instance, they built fucking Juno's website. They do loads of great stuff. But others, like just meme tokens. I just think that you're risking potentially a full centralised chain, whatever network that might be. Cosmos wasn't meant to be like that, was it? It was meant to be to keep it decentralised. So it's just a concern. It's not anything that I'm worried about. I'm kind of just concerned. I just want to hear some of the elite comments on this. Do you know what I mean? Some of the long-term validator statuses on it. What do they think? Just to raise a bit of a topic, that's all.
I think it's a very important topic, man, because I always talked with quite a lot of people. And the first node that I ever held, it was a fork of Steemit, which was a BitShares-based platform on the same technology. And it used to be called Witnesses. This was 2016. So the validation was a bit different. But because it was different and there was still no punishments and no things like that, people would not care about the validators. And what it may do, a lot of networks would die literally because the operators couldn't care shit about the validators.
That's fucking scary, man. It really is.
Yeah. So what you're raising is a very, very important point, in my opinion. More so, you're actually sharing your own income. You're kind of saying, hey, guys, I'm doing it out of my own wish to make the network more decentralized, but you guys not looking after your nodes.
You're still earning staking rewards. I mean, you might delegate to someone else, but still, if I get 2,000 commission 1 year, say, right, 2,000 Juno, and I redelegate some of that to some validators, you're still getting the 90 odd to 125% staking APYs, you know what I mean? So you're not killing yourself, do you know what I mean? But you really are helping other lower validators. And I just thought, Inqualic sort of fell out of that set, and I thought I was gutted for him because I thought, you deserve to be in the top 10, really, because you're that good. But you might just not have maybe not as, you know, I'm quite a chatty person. I can go and talk to people pretty easily. Maybe that was the case. You need to be like that as a validator, I suppose, don't you, to try and, you've got to attract people to delegate to. It's as simple as that. And when I was on Juno's Telegram group now, it's like, I'm just looking at it now, it's fucking mad, it's insane, it's so busy. And I was like, I am not even getting involved in this. That's 5,000 people in a Telegram group and just trying to read these messages. So that's why I channeled Highlander-Nodes towards Stack Labs. A bit of a side track I did there, but I've got 800 people who can read what I'm saying and learn, and not 5,000 people just posting. Yeah, how can you keep up with it, 5,000? So that's what I kind of did, and I think it did help validate it. It raised awareness in what we do. Do you know what I mean?
I think, again, this is a lot of important things that you mentioned, because we've seen this in a few networks, and hopefully there's going to be some solutions for it in the future in terms of like on-chain solutions. I don't really know how you could solve it out of the box.
Juno being a community-driven project, it was kickstarted with just volunteers, man. It was incredible what's happened to it. And I swear to God, man, all the core devs, I'm telling you, I wish them all the luck and help in the world that they deserve. A bit of it, man. Null names, you know, Dimmy, Jake, Massey, even Tosh, everybody who's on that Discord every day running test nets and doing stuff. We were all in it together. You know, I was in and out, but most of the time running uni validators still, just so people can help develop new projects and stuff. It's all important, but it goes unnoticed at the moment. You know, nobody knows what's happening in the background, but it's incredible, man. And it should be inspiration to anybody. This is what you can do as a community, and it's amazing.
By the way, about what you do, I've noticed that you also, I guess, took a role of working a lot with the community. I've seen you do validation guides. I've seen you be really active on, like you say, on Twitter, on Telegram. Is that something that you feel you can do in terms of value?
Well, I had this idea a simple sort of airdrop mechanism or whatever, what you could earn some Juno tokens to help you on your way in developing your project or your dApp and such. But the thing that I was thinking was just, it was flawed. You could not get away with, it would just be gamed, right? You would just be claiming what one Juno can be quite a lot of money in some third world countries, you see. So it would just be spammed. You'd run out of the fund that you put in for it to be done. But Deuce Labs, I don't know if you're aware of them, and Dao, the chaps from there, they liked the name, and I was sort of like, I did a front end for Juno Drop, because I ain't no back end developer. Christ, I'm not even a front end developer. I've just been learning on the job. And I had a finished JavaScript front end that was all working with help from some of the community. Deuce Labs, Orkin and stuff just said, we like the name. We've got this Merkle drop mechanism, it's smart contract, done, ready to go. Can we get the name? And I just went absolutely buzzing with that. I thought, at least the thing's going to get finished and it's going to be brilliant, because these chaps are amazing, man, what they can build. And so Jake's been on it with Deuce Labs. So Dao and Deuce Labs and myself, a little bit of a project going.
And this is Juno Drop, right?
Yeah, Juno Drop, yeah. And what it is, a Merkle tree smart contract, right? It's not a normal airdrop where you distribute over loads of addresses in respect of costing loads of fees. A Merkle drop is sort of flips it on the other end, where you get a whitelist from whoever wants to, say you create a token, right? You've got a project and you come to us and you go, there's my whitelisted addresses. And we put that, we don't want to say data, it sounds centralised. Right? We take that and configure it into the smart contract. And then it basically, all the users who have a whitelist have to go through a hash sort of structure to prove that they're due the airdrop. And then it just gets spouted out. It's a lot cheaper to do than a traditional airdrop. And it saves a lot of time. And it will enable a new chain to get their tokens out very quickly and get it going. But Juno Drop is not just the only thing, by the way. At the moment, they're doing something a lot bigger, and Juno Drop's just going to be a part of that now. So that's where we're going, but I was told not to say too much about it yet. But that, because it's not my baby, mate, to be honest.
Maybe a hint, like which way, which direction?
It's just going to be like a hub, right? You think about it, right? If you're going to be a new chain, you're going to come to us for an airdrop, right? And we configure that and do it for you, right? It becomes Juno Drop. But it could be a lot more that you can come to us and we could do it for you, innit? Do you know what I mean? So we're going to have a little bit more than just Juno Drop happening. So is that a good hint for you?
That's a good enough hint. We're going to alpha it here.
Yeah, man. But just a little, it's close. I've got a lovely chap from America who's been in touch, and he's got a great project. It sounds like a brilliant project. It's a classical music industry, and they've got this, they want to get a kind of patent thing going. But I just thought, it's nearly done. What we're doing is nearly done. It's almost there. We just need Jake to. He said it was funny, actually. He just said, I need to clone myself. So he's obviously really busy.
We love tokens. Everybody loves tokens.
yeah, exactly. We're nearly there. I'm not too sure if Juno Drop won't be a token. I'll give you the hinted word, tools. It's a tool set. We're going to be bringing you tools that can help build your chain or your whole infrastructure. This is the idea of what's behind it, which is very exciting. And if I can just do a bit of marketing and stuff like that, then it gives me the apprenticeship to try and learn more of how these things are being built from the front to the back. I'm happy with that, and it keeps me involved, I suppose. Keeps me in Cosmos for as long as I can.
One thing that gets me mostly excited, like hearing you actually say what you say, is the fact that a couple of years ago when we started out with Citizen Cosmos, and I've been like around for a little bit longer, but one of the goals that I wanted to achieve is to show anyone, wherever they are based in the world, doesn't matter which country, doesn't matter what their background is that Web3 and having a business in Web3 that can be monetized is realistic to anyone. And now hearing your story is exactly kind of that. It's like saying, well, you did something, regardless of whether it was highly paid or whether it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you decided to go and change to something you like more or enjoy more for whatever reason. And it does reward you. You do have a reward. You are doing what you love. You're learning new skills. You're learning to fucking program, you said, right? I mean, God, that's not really easy. I know myself.
It takes time, yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's amazing. No, you're totally right, mate. You can, and I've shown loads of, for instance, my fiance, right? She's on a level 4 in accountancy, for instance, right? And I have said to her, you're in traditional finance. I think you should start looking into blockchain. I says, because you will see all these finance companies are already getting in place blockchain engineers because they know where this is going. It's technology, it just is not going away. We might see Bitcoin at the moment of recording this take a bit of a dump, but we're confident it's all coming back, aren't we? We've got high inflation going on here. It's high inflation, interest rates are going up. We're now going to see a recession, aren't we? And I just said to Jade, now's the time to be putting your efforts into this technology here. If you can get going with this, you're laughing.
For sure, for sure. To be honest, seen 3 bear markets, what is 11, 13, 18, whatever, or 11, 14, 18, shall I say, in my opinion anyways, like the most of the development happens during bear markets.
Yeah, you get peace and quiet, man. I mean, I wasn't a developer during bear market before, but all I want to do now is just have enough infrastructure in place where I'm not going under. Trying to move house as well. At the end of the day, it all comes back to assets, doesn't it? So just having enough in place and enough staked, and things I've got staked with Juno, Atom, and any other Cosmos chain that I'm staking with, I just think long term, that's not getting touched. That's there forever. My kids probably will see that. So, yeah, I can then, during a quiet bear market, what I intend doing is getting a bit of a fiat income source, preferably in crypto. If not, I will need to go back to touring a little bit. Not as much. But, yeah, that's my sort of idea of where I'm going.
I had a discussion with a friend recently who's been in crypto since like the very beginning. He has a very interesting opinion that decentralized software and systems have a much longer lifespan. And now you're talking about being a validator and talking about kids. And I'm just wondering, when your kids grow up and ask you, so daddy, what do you do? And then you say, well, I'm a validator. It kind of becomes the new.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, I never thought about it like that, but, my son's always like, I work for an artist and he's quite big, he's doing stadiums, Christ, this year. So, and my son's going, instead of going to, you're going to work, daddy, he's going like that, are you going to Jerry work? Or are you going to, or if I'm in here on the computer, it's like, you're doing that work today. He just sees the charts and stuff and he knows that's a different work that I'm doing. It's crazy, man. He's only 3, but it's funny.
It's funny. I mean, if you think about it, in the 60s, all the kids wanted to be cosmonauts.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, or the 90s, they wanted to be like businessmen. And now they want to be validators or cosmonauts again. I mean, cosmonaut is working again, right? Yeah. But this time online. So, yeah, man, it's beautiful. I see some drums in the background there, man. Is that you're a musician, right?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a music man, obviously. Well, I was a performer, not anything special, but, I did do a bit of band stuff and, it wasn't paying my rent, so I ended up going into the industry as a sound engineer, and, I did well with that for a while, doing monitors for big acts in front of house for big acts, and yeah, you see some of our racks that we build and you think, at the time I was very scared of flying massive PA rigs into a stadium when you're in control of this 3-ton weight in the air. But see, when you step up and do an upgrade on a validator and you've got all that delegation to you, I think that's more scarier. I'm all right with it now, but the first time I did that upgrade, I was like just seeing the chain starting again. And it's like, wow. You just think to yourself, all eyes are on you. And if you're not getting any blocks signed... Yeah, very scary.
I agree totally. But on the other hand, it's interesting that if you're looking, we're talking about Evmos, and Evmos was supposed to launch yesterday.
I believe so, yeah. So what happened? I need to catch up with that, sorry.
Well, I don't know the whole story, but as far as I understood, there was a problem in the code and the validators couldn't launch the network, or the network couldn't be launched, whichever is the correct way to put it. But I think it's a good thing. Instead of trying to push something, it's going to break and then totally...
Yeah, it's done properly.
Exactly.
Well, I think when I was doing it, they've got EVM running in there as well. And when I did the testnet, there was some things that I recognised when I was doing some Solidity stuff. What had happened, I actually uploaded the Solidity contract that I did and got it working on the testnet and stuff. And I thought, this is going to be great, man. But that's when I was too busy. I was doing loads of things. You can't, honestly, I wish I could clone myself as well. Because I look after my missus's wallet, I look after my dad's wallet, and I've got my son and my daughter's wallets as well, and that takes up a full day sometimes. So they're all in osmosis. It's all doing a little bit. You know what I mean? You've got bits everywhere, and yeah, it can just take up a whole day.
I totally understand. For me, it's usually like dividing my tasks between either content or validator or trading or anything else. And I can never manage doing more than really one thing, at least doing it good in a day. So it's always like trying to, what's going on? What's going on? But coming back to the like validating thing, man, let's assume that Highlander, the validator, grows to the point where you realize, okay, this now is bringing much more income than I anticipated. I don't know, you're validating 6, 7 networks, whatever. What are your plans? You're going to carry on developing small projects, well, small and big, like Juno drop and whatever it is else you're planning? Or do you have any other plans?
For the moment, we're on, as you know, Juno, Comdex, Keychain, Omniflix. We're hoping to mainnet on that, and a very interesting project, which I'm hoping to get some more information from Jacob and stuff. But Dig, I think, has got legs to run if it gets going.
DIG, yeah? I've seen it, I think.
Yeah. I've always found real estate. One of the first questions I asked myself when I get into crypto and blockchain was, can this come into real estate? Imagine doing buying a house on blockchain. You're just missing out all. I know you need to go through government law and it needs to be valued and all this and that. Fair enough, but if it's all on an open ledger like blockchain, don't you cut out all the bullshit in the middle by going through blockchain? I think it's very interesting.
I think the problem here is the government, is the middleman. So if you kind of take them out of the picture, there has been a lot of projects over the years that have tried to combine blockchain and real estate.
Real was a token, wasn't it? That's fell flat in its ass, that project. But that they were trying to do it, weren't they?
It was a pile of big Russian shit. And the reason I say that with a bit of hate is because I lost quite a bit of money on that project back in the day.
Yes.
And I know the guys, I know them very well, and they didn't really plan to do anything, to be honest. So,
man, that's a shame.
It was one of those semi-rug pulls, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that the people who are entering the market and they see the opportunity, instead of trying to understand that the government doesn't give a shit about what you're trying to do, right? Their job is like the mafia. They're going to like take money and they're going to offer you protection. And that's what the mafia fucking does, right? And well, that's what the government does. They offer you protection as long as you pay the money. So that's why they're not really interested in all that shit. If you take them out of the picture, I think it could be blockchain and real estate would be perfect for each other.
I do believe that'll be one of the cases for it. So yeah, that's Dig, and obviously Hawaii. I could not get on the WOOF train, man. Honestly, that's brilliant. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm seeing they're doing some good stuff. They've actually got a dev community there. I mean, null names, King Nodes is a good guy. He's up there in the top. He's second on that chain. If he's on about it, he's great at documenting stuff. He's such a helpful guy to loads of newer validators. Helped me loads as well. And yeah, I see Chihuahua chain have actually got things happening. They're making things. It's not like Doge or Shiba or anything.
I love Chihuahua. This is the best.
It's a fucking meme coin on Cosmos, man. It's great.
I love it.
Yeah, so do them and put it. What else is coming out that I might? As I said, I don't want to go too much. I don't want to go.
As you grow, are you planning to stay more helping like grow communities? Are you planning to grow more technical and develop tools?
I'm more of the technology. It fascinates me. I've got some great ideas, you see, but I'm having to ask for help. But I would like to learn more and to try and, even if what's happening now is, for instance, if I could get I've got another project potentially for Juno, right? And it's a simple. Do you remember Dice to Win on Ethereum? Remember that betting game? I've got a code working there that does a simple, you flip Juno 50-50 win, and I've got something ready to go there. But it's like with me, I get it to a stage where I can't go any further, and you bring another developer in, he helps you out with there. It's just like contributing everywhere. Yeah, that's how I've been rolling with at the moment. You've been learning a lot, and as I said, you just try and build some useful things for the chain, and rewards come after if they do. But who cares? You're just doing it because you're helping, trying to grow the developer community. I mean, Juno's my priority, definitely. It's got me where I am. Other chains.
I think you guys have already, with Juno, I've already heard at least 2 different networks. Well, I'm not going to say anything, but talking about the hackathon that for for a year, I already heard several networks take that idea and they want to do it as well in Cosmos. And I think that by creating those little examples of how to do things in a different way, I think it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, if you are a developer, even if you're on Ethereum or anything and you are listening to this, it's like try out Rust, try and get involved in the Discord, speak to people who can guide you, man, and it's worth it. There's so many amazing things that were built on ETH, man. Let's see what it's like built on Juno now. Do you know what I mean?
It's actually exactly what I was gonna say, man. I mean,
Yes.
if well, pretty much about the connections, man. In my opinion, you're creating beautiful connections here, man. You're talking to people, you're building some synergy between different validators, between different, and that's what helps to build the community. That's what Cosmos is all about.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're totally right. So, I mean, exciting stuff for Juno coming up. Focusing on at the moment, just we need some docs and stuff done for Juno Swap. So I'm in about doing that at the moment, me and a few others, and get that going. And then I think Juno Drop should be getting going, and obviously DAO will be going hopefully soon as well. And yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot going on. So I'm just standing by, and if there's anywhere I can chip in or pipe in, I will. That's how I'm playing it at the moment. Bitcoin can go fuck off for all I care, man.
That's the real stuff, man. I do like recording with the big validators as well, but we are a small time, like Citizen Cosmos is also small. The reason I love recording this with the operators of smaller validators is because it's real. You get the feel of what the person is about, what they're going to do. And, there was a guy from the Cosmos community, I think it was on Reddit, and he left a comment. He said, when I validate to somebody, I'm delegating my money and I want to understand who's that person. And by listening to something like this, I'm learning about the person, the personality. Should I delegate to them? And this is why I like this. I mean, this is the real stuff.
When I get delegations, stuff's been monitored. Stuff. I've got alerting systems put in place. Not that I've ever needed it, but it's looked after. It's not mismanaged in any way. I've learned from the best in the community. Do you know what I mean? And it's something that I want to keep going for a while. And if I decide not to one day, the delegators will be well informed to go and delegate somewhere else or whatever. But yeah, Juno's a long-term project. Let's see how we go. My goal is now is to learn code, to develop more at the front end and learn how the back end's working, and also try and learn a bit more about the system ops, because like Kubernetes and stuff is a very interesting technology to learn and very useful, especially with Tendermint. And, and there's careers in Tendermint. They're always looking for people, and that company's grew very, very quickly. I'd imagine come this year, possibly, it's going to expand even more, especially if they're talking 200 chains connected and stuff like this. You're going to need a bigger firm. You're going to need more people. So I'm just sort of getting my education up to a level now where I can maybe get in somewhere as an entry level. We'll just see how it goes. It's a month to month for me at the moment. Let's just see how January goes with Juno and getting stuff built. This is it. It's hard for me to go like that. This is what I'm doing this year. So, and that goes for my old job as well. I've said that to them. I have to go month to month at the moment because I am just too busy to be going on a tour. There's too much to manage at the moment. Simple as that.
I love the realism, man. I love it. This is what, in my opinion, blockchain is about. It's about the people and how real they are. Man, before we're gonna wrap up, one traditional question I kind of like to ask people is, what motivates Highlander? You say you go month to month, you've been realistic, but what keeps you motivated? Is it some books? Is it some people? Is it your kids? Is it your drums? I don't know, whatever. What keeps you motivated and going?
Well, I'll tell you what, working from home and seeing the kids every day is something amazing that I've noticed. Although trying not to be as lazy, I'm a bit of a keen mountain biker, you see, so I tend to sit at the desk more than I should. I need to get that changed very shortly. Motivation is getting through little goals, I've set in terms of building an application or something, or just sitting with a bit of code for a while, and then just, something works out or I figure out something. That for me, when you achieve something like that, I just get this buzz. I'm like, right, okay, buzzing. Next thing, what we're doing, you know what I mean? And then it's like, keep your eye on Discord, anything you can just chip in with, And yeah, I suppose it's Cosmos's community. It keeps me motivated, you know what I mean? You see things getting built, you see people releasing stuff, and you see when the price turns round, man, and it starts going up, you see everybody absolutely flying about Cosmos. It's incredible. But you never see any YouTubers talk about it. It's as if they just dismiss it, man. It's fucking, beyond me, mate. As if, I know truly, these big YouTubers are all getting paid a fortune to show fucking Cardano or whatever, do you know what I mean? And that's why Cosmos is just blowing everything out the water. When you look at it and you see how it works, it's only a matter of time, mate, before it's in, the top 2.
Is there anyone you recommend out of the YouTubers? That somebody you would recommend to watch?
I've stopped watching them, but I do like, for a trading point of view, Da Vinci was pretty good at analysing. That Martini guy's a British lad. He's all right. He's bullish all the time. Ivan he was banging on about Cosmos years ago, and it didn't do much. But he said some shit I wasn't too happy about. He was just asking where the dev community is and stuff like that, and you're like, fucking hell, they've been building, man. Have you not noticed? Because like, look at all the shit that's been released. What are you saying that for? So he went down in my estimations a bit, and then but he did, I think, because Tor at Secret was on his channel, right, and Tor just was absolutely going on about IBC and going on, and it was like, oh, this is amazing, look at that, and you could see it in Ivan's face. Because he was like, he slated a bit of Cosmos, and he said Tor was just, and he was respected to Tor, but Tor's just going on about IBC and stuff, and I thought that's excellent because that's getting some notice now. And yeah, I think it did. It helped Secret a bit, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to watch YouTubers, man, because what the fuck do they know, really, man? Do you know what I mean?
I think this is a beautiful note for a finish. What the fuck do YouTubers know? I love it. I love it.
Exactly, man. Anybody can go on YouTube.
I hope for you guys, I hope seeing you more and more Validator around, and hope you guys grow more and more, man. So thanks.